Loneliness is sometimes like a pit, deep and silent. Ethan, at a young age, had fallen into that pit. After the death of his parents, he had no branch to hold on to in life. Like many children, he was placed in a foster home, surrounded by walls that never felt like a real family. His world was consumed by grief and loss. He could never experience the feeling of belonging. The crowded walls of the foster home were suffocating. The only thing he desired every day was to break free, to escape, and be alone. One day, he gathered the courage, broke out of the foster home, and stepped into the streets. Ethan's world had become smaller and smaller with each passing day, and his grief was growing. The memories of his parents were like shadows, lurking in every corner. The loss of his parents had taught him the painful lesson of what true loneliness felt like. The foster home was a busy yet empty place. He could never experience what it meant to have a real family. Loneliness consumed him, and each day he felt it more deeply. In the midst of all this, he finally couldn't bear it any longer. He gathered his courage and left the walls of the foster home behind, stepping into the unknown. The street offered him both fear and freedom. He was scared, because in this unfamiliar world, he had no one. But he was free. No one could tell him where to go or what to do. As he walked aimlessly down the street, lost in his thoughts, he noticed a dog. The dog, a stray, was sick and shivering in the cold. His name was Max. Max seemed to be alone, frightened, and in pain. At first, Ethan tried to avoid him, thinking he had enough pain in his life without bringing more trouble. But Max, without fear, slowly walked towards Ethan and nudged his nose against the boy's face. In that moment, something inside Ethan broke. In his own loneliness, he saw something familiar in Max's eyes. "I am alone too," the dog seemed to say. "But together, maybe we can find meaning in this world." Ethan's heart began to open. Max wasn't just a dog. He became a companion, a friend, someone to share his pain with. As they walked the streets together, spent nights in parks, and shared moments of silence, Ethan began to feel something he hadn't in a long time: connection. Max's loyalty wasn't just about staying by Ethan's side. It was a reminder that, even in the darkest times, a bond could still be formed. One day, their path led them to a large animal shelter in the heart of the city. The shelter volunteers noticed Ethan and Max. They decided to adopt him, seeing the special bond between the boy and the dog. For the first time, Ethan felt what it was like to belong somewhere. It wasn't just the shelter that gave him a home. It was the relationship with Max that finally made him feel like he had found a family. Max was no longer just a street dog. He was Ethan's best friend, his most trusted companion, and the most valuable thing in his life. People began to recognize the bond between children like Ethan and animals like Max. They realized that these kinds of relationships not only healed the animals, but also helped heal the humans involved. Ethan and Max weren't just helping each other. They were teaching society a lesson in empathy. Max's loyalty opened the door to Ethan's emotional healing, giving him a sense of belonging he'd never had before. Ethan and Max's story was not only about survival, but also about finding a reason to live. They proved that even in the darkest of times, the bond between a human and an animal could bring light. People began to see that these connections could break down emotional walls, ease pain, and provide a sense of security that neither could find alone. Ethan, no longer alone, walked side by side with Max, his friend and mentor. Max wasn't just teaching him loyalty and love, but also how to heal from the wounds of his past. Ethan, now surrounded by love, learned that life wasn't just about surviving. It was about finding someone to walk with you, no matter how broken you might feel. Max was no longer just a dog. He was Ethan's heart, his hope, and his salvation.